As Mikal Bridges finally showing up to the party after he had himself the best game of the season against the Pelicans. Of course, we got to discuss, so let's bring in my guy, Jonathan Macri of the Knicks Film School to talk Bridges and, of course, 12-8 Knicks. Jonathan, what's going on, my man? Look at this matching and stuff. We got the Blazers after the blowout dub.
I see the fit that you bring, to the table when you have me on. And I said to myself, I can't be showing up in just like a hoodie or like a T-shirt or something along those lines. I had to go into the closet, the very back of the closet, as it were, because I don't get out much anymore, but pull some out to look respectable. All
right, so you raised your game. Mikal Bridges raised his game as well. So give us your keys to the game and tell us what you loved about the win before we go in depth on Mikal.
This team has been nothing if not up and down this season, and obviously we'll talk about Bridges in a second. They have been like the only thing that has been consistent for them has been inconsistency, and it's almost been regardless of the opponent. I mean, you look at how the Charlotte Hornets came out and really gave them a game over the Thanksgiving weekend, and you went into this game against the Pelicans last night feeling like, well, we can't take anything for granted. So when they come out and they, get off to the start that they did, holding the Pelicans to 1 of 17 from the field to start and essentially have, a high 20-point lead, 30-point lead for the entirety of the game, you hope, key word is hope, that now as we are crossing that 20-game threshold, they will begin to resemble the team that a lot of us thought we were going to get before the season started.
Now let's go into Bridges, because we know about the shaky season that he's had to start, the year with the Knicks. Had himself a career night, was benched on Friday, they came and put on and showed up and showed out. What'd you see from him that I guess was different than any other night? And did my man just re-unlock his superpowers?
I'm happy you use that term, because to me, what I've been saying the whole season with Mikal Bridges is Mikal Bridges, despite what they gave up to get him, and obviously they gave up a haul to get him, he's not one of these on-ball, dominating players that you're just going to throw the ball to and he's going to create offense for you. Typically speaking, when you see, a trade package like that, that's what you're going to get. Mikal Bridges' superpower is that he is just good at everything. He could do a little bit of that creation, but he takes nothing off the table on either end of the floor. Or at least that's what had been the case for the 5 or 6 seasons heading into this one. So the fact that he was struggling in so many different areas, that's what made it so unnerving. You look at last night against the Pelicans, I think the biggest change for me was his lack of hesitation, firing away from deep. Like you saw him, I think, get to the point, especially in the last couple of games before this one, where he was thinking about whether or not he wanted to put up that three if he had a little bit of space. That was not the case yesterday. Obviously put up 12. He made 7 of them, tied a career high. I wonder almost if he just got so sick and tired of the noise where he's like, look, it can't get much worse. Let me just go out and play as I'm accustomed to. And I think defensively, it wasn't quite as loud of a statement as on the offensive end, but I thought you continued to see signs of progress there. And I think the defense has been getting a little bit better. Yeah. Is he the point of attack defender that he was, when he finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting, 3-4 years ago in Phoenix? We're not quite there yet. That's still to come, and hopefully we can get there, because if we get that guy back, then, the Knicks are not going to regret the investment that they made.
Especially with Josh Hart being the dog that he is. Obviously, Jalen Brunson is Jalen Brunson. OG is an OG, and Karl Anthony Towns still balling. Only 14. Let's talk about Cat, man, because only 14 points on the night, 19 rebounds. He didn't have nights like that when he was in Minnesota, because he was at power forward, obviously, with Rudy Gobert at center. So what are your thoughts on Tibbs moving Cat back to center? Has he unlocked or re-unlocked some superpowers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was an organizational necessity. I think once Isaiah Hartenstein left to the Oklahoma City Thunder in free agency, just because the Knicks didn't have the mechanism to pay him, and then with Mitchell Robinson's injury situation being what it was, the Knicks had a choice. They could go out and they could give up, a significant haul, but obviously a more manageable one, keep the core of their team intact, and just get, a run-of-the-mill center that more fit what they've done over the last few years. Or they could go big game hunting, and there was no bigger game to be had, no pun intended, than Cat, And I think since he's moved back to center, you've seen a lot of the good that defined Karl Anthony Towns' career over, the majority of it. His offense, I mean, He was always an offensive or an efficient offensive player. He's never had a more efficient season than he's putting up right now. And I think it reminds you he could do a lot of the traditional, so to speak, things that a center can do. Last night you saw it in rebounding. And then there's, the other side of the coin, which is how are the Knicks going to do when he is the last line of defense and an opponent gets close to the rim? On that note, I do want to say, as of this morning, Cleaning the Glass had the Knicks as the 13th best team in terms of limiting opponents' accuracy in the restricted area. That's around middle of the pack, but it's a lot better than where they were doing or where they were at the start of the season. That's not obviously not all Towns. You saw OG Anunoby had a big light last night in terms of blocks. He had a spectacular one on Daniel Tice. So it's a team effort. But as long as Towns could be part of that effort, in making sure that it's not a cakewalk for these opposing teams once they actually get into the paint, I think that's all you could ask for from him.
And that's going to be something that we're going to keep our eyes on throughout the season. And currently, there are 20 games in. They're 12-8. They're currently the 4 seed in the East. They got the 3-seeded Magic Tuesday night. And I'm talking like we got the playoffs tomorrow or something where we're talking seed. But the standings are what the standings are. Take us to school, man. How do they build off of Sunday's win? And how big of a win would it be if they can beat the Magic at the Garden on Tuesday night?
Put all the cup stuff aside, put the fact that the Magic are the 3rd seed aside. This is a great test against maybe not the best defense that they faced. They faced Boston, they faced Cleveland, they faced Houston. Those are all exceptional defenses when they're locked in. But the Magic are right up there. The Knicks are the best offense in the league statistically right now. The Magic are a top 3 defense, and there is a significant gap between them and whoever's in 4th at the moment. And I think the reason why the Magic give you fits is they really are able to switch everything inside the arc. When you have a point of attack defender like Jalen Suggs, who, I'm sure there will be possessions tomorrow night where we see Suggs matched up on Karl Anthony Towns. And that, to me, is the biggest question. What do the Knicks do? Because their troubles against switching defenses this season have been well documented. So I think, it's going to be an interesting question because they at times can get a little gun shy from behind the arc. If they don't come out of the gate and they're not hitting threes right away, what do they try to do to try to generate efficient offense? Because the Magic, they want you to challenge them at the rim, because they feel very good about we're either going to turn you over on your way there or we're going to stop you, once you get into the restricted area. Their numbers are very good in that respect. So it's a great matchup. And again, even putting the standings and the cup stuff aside, if they could come out and score against this team, I think it would be a significant statement as to the fact that, look, we're not just here to beat up on the Pelicans of the world. We could play with any team in the league, and this is as good a test as they are going to get.
Yeah, it's an NBA Cup game as well. Now, tip-off is 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday night. All eyes are going to be at that game, and I bet you the energy at the Garden is going to be absolutely on fire. Jonathan, tell the people they can find you, man. Shout out your platform real fast.
Absolutely. You could find me anywhere you find Knicks Film School. Go over and subscribe on the Knicks Film School YouTube channel. Obviously, subscribe to the Knicks Film School podcast. And I'm actually running a special this week for Cyber Monday. Anybody who wants to get a free 1-month subscription to my Knicks Film School newsletter over at Substack, just Google Knicks Film School and Substack. It'll come up. You could avail yourself to that. Again, 1 month, you get it 5 days a week in your inbox, absolutely free. Try it out. You may like it, and it might be a new way to start your day.
All right, man. Thanks for hopping on with us.
Appreciate you, man.